Blue Beast Tales by the Paranoid P.I. Quicksand. As my one and only would put it, we had the best worst day of our lives. The whole thing started with an innocent trip to the beach with my 5-year-old son. He was out making sandcastles while I, till this day regretfully finished my hip flask. I looked back and he was missing from his castle gates, so I threw my booze and scoured the beach. It wasn't long before I started screaming, "Jack," at the top of my lungs as my dog started barking. That was when from the bend of the bay I saw 3 tall men covered in sand running away. Police wouldn't follow up on the sand-doused men as it wasn't suspicious enough to warrant. Agent Weatherfield wouldn't return my calls, but his sidekick Agent Foster lent me an ear. I went back with my dog Trixie and roamed the beach for months after the kidnapping. I wrapped around the coast and got into deep waters before I'd turn around on my light jog. There was never a sign of Jack on the coast. I couldn't even know what I was looking for. My family begged me to quit searching, but that wasn't going to burden me further. On my 40th, I went on my normal beach run but took a different route down a new inlet. Jack would be 11 by now, which was enough reason to keep looking. Trixie always kept ahead, but this time she was lost in the tidal overgrowth. I kept calling out to her Trixie, but it fell on deaf ears till I happened to come across her by a pipe. I peeked into the dark tunnel when Trixie ran in and I followed down the deep, dank sewer pipe. Crawling hunched over down the waterlogged tube, it began to shrink before getting wider. From the moldy straw of concrete, I saw a shaft of light in an open room at the tunnel's end. I squatted up to the pipe exit when I saw Jack slapping wet sand onto a group of tall figures. Running up to my son, I gripped his hand, pushing past the sand creatures as he called, "Tilly." We ran through the pipe, squatting and kneeing ourselves while Jack pulled the other direction. The tall sand-covered homunculi squeezed down the rabbit hole after us till we closed the cage. Originally, I didn't tell anyone of my son's return. We just caught up on lost years. About a week into his recovery from malnourishment, he kept insisting, "I want to see my friends." "Oh, we'll find your friends," was my reasoning for agreeing to return to that beach. I called in the police to help further investigate the pipe, then we all went down the tube. Weatherfield wasn't surprised when we found the pipe junction room was abandoned. Agent Foster listened to me when I told him about the group of sandy strangers with my son. A few weeks later, we returned to the beach on Jack's insistence, and we waited for them to arrive. I distinctly remember waiting only an hour before Jack called out as he struggled, "Tilly." A sandy Sasquatch dragged Jack down the beach when Agent Foster leapt out and fired at it. The autopsy of the Sandman found a muscular jellyfish skeleton buried in the wet sand body. The coroner said, before they dried up, they could move so long as they were quick.